Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the round three of the Karff Women's Martial Championship. Um, so let's see. Okay, so let me go back here. So right now we're left off at the game between Chloe Stark and Megan Paragua. So Chloe Stark is 1400 FIDE, about 15 or maybe 1600 USCF. A very strong player. She beat a high rated um, Jessica Regam in the first round, I think. Or maybe I confused it with someone else, but yeah, she has 1.5. We can check the standings. Just quickly check the standings. Um, how much does Chloe Stark have? Yeah, she has bye, and then she beat Camila Sharuda, who is 1964. Very strong, experienced player. So pretty good tournament so far. Already has an upset on her belt. So let's see how that board two is going. So it started off with the Night Earth, which Megan Paragua plays, has been playing I think for a long time, which makes sense because her uncle Mark Paragua is a pretty plays Night Earth quite frequently. And Chloe plays the. By the way, there are two Chloes in this tournament. Chloe Gao, who had a narrow escape yesterday against a young 7-year-old prodigy Li Wen, um, and then she lost with White to Arena Crush. I happened to catch the game live, um, and that game Arena played extremely well, and she realized that okay, after that first round scare, she's not gonna take anything for granted, and she played extremely high level against Chloe and won a very convincing game with Black in round two. And that was Chloe Gao. And Chloe Stark is only 1700 USCF, 1400 FIDE, but quite dangerous. Another player I've not met, but seen several times at the Marshall. So this is all pretty standard. A4, I guess A4 just to stop. Not necessarily the main line, I don't think. I think usually they castle. But okay, pretty normal so far. B6. Now I guess you can go bishop g5 with takes and then knight d5, fighting for this square right here. Okay, bishop e3 pretty normal. Bishop e6, castle, castle, f4. That makes sense. It's a very similar strategy as Chloe Gao's opponent yesterday chose Wan Li, and so f4 is pretty logical. White maybe wants to play f5, and after takes, they want to get this d4 square. Knight c6, knight d4. Now knight d4 might have been premature because it allowed a very strong tactic for black with takes d5, where white of course cannot take that anymore because of bishop c5 with a very nasty skewer. Bishop c5 skewering the king and the king, queen and the king, and white is losing. So already that meant that white has to go there, but now black actually wins the pawn. Now there might still be compensation because the pawn is rather weak and white's pieces are active, but realistically speaking, I would definitely take black here. So I think black sort of has control over the game. So I think quite simply, this was just a blunder, knight d4. So what white should have done is prepared with king h1. Prophylactical move, getting the king out of the way, preparing maybe knight d4. Next move is, let's say, rook c8. Well, that rook c8 is bad, but let's say, I don't know, queen d7. And now knight d4, and takes. Now d5 could be met simply with takes, and something like takes, and white will be better. Um, Also queen e1, rook d1 is kind of decent. So, black maybe could play d5, but okay, I think this is a pretty normal position for white. Approximately equal, I guess. But yeah, anyway, any comments so far in this game? Any questions? Just want to make sure that, everybody could hear my chat, the sound quality is okay, and, just want to see if anyone is around. Yeah, looks like a tough one. Yeah, white is gonna be worse. So okay, let's go back and take a look at another game. Okay, let's take a look at our leader, Irina Crush, and it looks like first glance Irina's doing pretty well already. It looks like she's getting in c5, all this knight c4, all that good stuff, and black is kind of slower on the king side. So let's see how that went. So it started off with the king's Indian, which in the classical variation, black played the knight a6, which is quite common, e5, bishop e3, queen e7. I've been noticing that this is quite fashionable these days. Knight a6 followed by queen e7. I've had some of my students face it quite a lot with white, and I've faced it. It's like a very interesting weapon. Um, I know that queen c2 is the move I've analyzed. I think it's kind of interesting trying to defend this pawn, preparing for this, and meeting this with this. And I think white is doing decently here, although there are no, I think it's no, it's here, and then like there's this move c5, but still there's d5, and white's probably a little bit better. Now d5 is a different story. d5 locking up the structure. I personally am not a big fan of. I don't really like this structure that much. I find it pretty hard to play with white myself, even though the engine always says white is better. Um, I feel like sometimes black's plans are a little bit easier than white's. But of course, it's pretty normal. Now, knight c5, I think, is a bad move because after white plays knight d2, consolidates the position. White's preparing b4, chasing with a knight. I think knight c5 is already simply a mistake. So I think black, what should he do? Should she do is knight g4. Um, and here it gets kind of interesting. So the bishop has to move to something like here. And now, I don't know, even knight h6 or h5. Okay, it's kind of in my opinion, it's kind of a tense position. So I don't know. It's quite. I can't say I'm a big expert in these positions. I think even c5 is as crazy as it looks. Sometimes that could be playable. It's not always easy for white to break through here, and black has ideas on the king side. But anyway, I'm not a big expert on this structure, so I'm not gonna claim to understand all the intricacies. But knight c5 already feels like white's position is easier. Like it's like white consolidates, white's play is easy. Black does not have knight g4 counterplay anymore. f5 could be met with simply f3, and I think white's better. a5, b3. So the reason white played b3 is because if a3, she probably does not want to allow some a4. Although here I think it's fine because you could just take knight a4, winning a pawn. So I'm not really sure if this should have been, if white needed to play b3, but okay. Knight e8, a3, f5, f3, knight f6, b4, knight a6, maybe knight d7 was more accurate. And already here after c5, white's looking quite good here. White will take on d6, go knight c4, and black's play is very slow because, for example, even if you do something like this, like yeah, black could play f4, but simply after bishop f2, black needs to play g5, g4, but the knight's in the way. It's just somehow, so they're gonna go knight f6, h5, but just you lose so much time, and by now white already is like way ahead on the queen side. So it really looks like a very bad King's Indian for black. King's Indian has gone really wrong after the move knight c4. Although maybe what black's idea would be is knight f4, but even still, white seems better even if you give up this bishop, because white will be able to trade off this bishop, and eventually this bishop on g7 is not great. The knight on a6 is offside, so white is better, but certainly it's still a fight. But I would definitely prefer to take white here. Um, let's take a look at another game, Radchenko Anna. So now this one, Radchenko is the one who actually beat with black in the first round, Jessica Riga, someone much higher rated, and so that was another player who had a pretty big upset, and another player who I've seen a few times at the Marshall Chess Club. And but in this game, um, so black decided to play the Palestine defense. This is the Paulson or the Count Sicilian. And white already played a little bit of a strange move, bishop c4, which I think in this structure the bishop doesn't really belong here against this pawn. Usually white would play knight c3, bishop b2 is pretty normal setup. Bishop d3, castle is pretty normal, and also c4 trying to get Maratzi bind structure is pretty normal. But bishop c4 seems already a bit strange. Knight f6, f3, and f3 already. Yeah, white's mixing a lot of plans. Normally, if you're gonna play f3, it would be in a situation like this, where you already consolidate and then you wanna like stabilize your center even more in the Maratzi structure. But here, there's nothing to consolidate, and black can already play a move like d5 and already be very comfortable. But black also played a good move, queen c7, bishop d6, and already it seems like black is very common. And here white just simply blunders. And this is just a blunder, missing this bishop takes g3, point being after takes. Black is up 2 pawns, and white's compensation is not nearly enough. White's king is a bit weak as well, so yeah, it looks like practically game over. Although, of course, anything can still happen, but I just don't see white being able to come back in this game. Black played e5, I think, and white played king f2. Yeah, it's possible knight h5 is even more accurate, but e5 looks pretty logical. Well, actually, yeah, maybe it's actually inaccurate, because if you go knight h5 first, you're threatening there, which means you can't really activate the king and try to. So perhaps e5 was a little bit inaccurate, because after king f2, oh, wait a second, there was some. Oh, wow, wait a second, h5, rook g1, queen g6, and wow, what just happened here? Queen d6, blundering knight g4. Wow, so this is like really game over before it really even started. Right? White kind of blundered everything this game. Yeah, so quite a poor game, unfortunately, for Radchenko. I mean, she played a really, uh, I guess, had a very nice upset in round one. Too bad we didn't really get a chance to see this game. But this one, unfortunately, went very badly for her. I mean, she'll probably try to go here and threaten mate, but really there's just nothing. And this game is going to be over pretty soon. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the game is already over. Yeah, and indeed the game is over. Yeah, there's a 15-minute delay, and indeed there's already 0-1 here. So yeah, not a surprise. Yeah, so this game is over officially. Here it's still lagging behind, but yeah, this game is over. Okay, and let's check the Chloe Gao game. So Chloe Gao is the one who, had a really big scare in round one, almost lost to the 7-year-old prodigy, Wan Lin, or Wan Li, I forget the name. I think, let me check exactly. Wan Qin Li. Yeah, and unfortunately she lost her round two as well. So really, a little bit of a downward spiral for her recently. A tough girls event, and then a really big chance against Chloe, missing it, and then lost round two as well. So hopefully things will uh, get better um, for Wan Qin Li pretty soon. But for now, let's see how Chloe's doing. So Chloe's coming off a loss to Irina, where she got outplayed. And in this game, she's playing a legendary woman international master, Dorothy Teasley. Very experienced, obviously, but let's see how that goes. So Dorothy decided to try to play the London system. Um, and then knight c6, c3, bishop g4, bishop e2, e6, knight d2, bishop e7. Yeah, pretty standard. Um, and these are all pretty standard moves. Yeah, this structure, I don't know. I think maybe white should have just taken, because this structure with the bishop on h2 staring at that pawn, I don't really like it very much for white. So I think black is already starting to get a little bit better, and yeah, black's starting to get some queenside play going. And now knight f3, maybe also not ideal. Maybe at this point you might need to just start attacking, and yes, sad bishop, exactly. White needs to start attacking. Wait, 1-0. Wait, what? Wait, what just happened? How? Wait, what? This is weird. Oh, okay, I guess this is some wrong. Um, yeah. Anyway, so at this point, the only way to justify this is like you have a 5 and 4 on the king side. So maybe yeah, you need to play a 4 g4, just go for the attack all in. But white played there. But now black just has all the play and white doesn't because of the bad bishop. And white's trying to get the bishop back into the game, but it's already pretty tough. I mean, yeah, looks like CB is a mistake also because it allows black access against his B2 pawn. The best chance was something like takes, and then e4. And apparently it's still kind of okay for white, although I would prefer black. But yeah, instead Dorothy took here, queen c2, takes rook b8, rook a6, queen b5. Now rook and the pawn are being attacked. And now black just wins the pawn. And still with a better position, passed pawn, bad bishop, should be technically winning. And she still has a lot of time, and Dorothy's playing relatively fast. So looks good for black, definitely. Um, so yeah, they're still playing. Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, it would have been updated here. It was just a bug that said 1-0. I mean, 1-0 would be even more of a surprising result, obviously. 0-1 would make more sense in this position. All right, so let's go back. So this is already officially 0-1. It's updated. So let's see if there are any updates in the arena game. So they went actually in the way that I predicted. Takes. Okay, but not knight c4, but Arena just took the pawn, which, technically it also makes sense. Like, why not? Take the pawn, you're gonna still go knight c4, knight b6. Still, you have the rook on the b file, so definitely looking very good for white. The only counterplay I can think of for black is something along the lines of knight f4 and queen g5, but it's not really enough. I can go here if queen g5, g3. But yeah, that's black should definitely try that. By the way, I played Sahana recently in a martial tournament, and I would say she's quite a strong player. Could be quite dangerous. And she did play knight f4, which of course, what else? There was really nothing else. You have to create counterplay with the knight because f4 is just going to be way too slow. And fe doesn't really make too much sense either. So knight f4 is logical, and again, white is of course better off a pawn, but the game is still ongoing. Um, let's see what happened. Okay, so we have a move in the Chloe game. So after rook a6, Chloe just played knight back, probably trying to meet rook a7, king f8. Again, black is up a pawn, very good passed pawn. White has no counterplay, bad pieces. I would be very surprised if white could survive this game for too much longer. And Megan Paragua, okay, so here we had a couple of moves after queen c6. White played rook c1. Yeah, that's not an ideal move, right? Like, I mean, when you're down a pawn and you're trying to play for compensation, you don't really want to play a passive defensive move trying to survive, right? Like, then you're really going to let your opponent consolidate the position rather nicely, right? So that's so rook d8, rook d1, and now rook d1. So yeah, very strange play last couple of moves by Chloe Stark. But I guess the idea is if black plays a move like this, I guess what white wants to do is try to take this pawn on a6. Although even that apparently doesn't work. Apparently it's like very good for black, but at least it's an idea. So that's I think why white plays rook d1 after rook c1, but still it looks shaky, right? Like I can go bishop d6, h6, and black is much better. So yeah, the round one was definitely much more intriguing. Here it looks like the higher rated have much more control. Probably in the first round they were a bit rusty, maybe a little bit relaxed mindset, underestimating. But now it's all business. They're in form. It's like, and now they can really flex their muscles. And although I have to say Chloe's not on paper the higher rated. Obviously Dorothy has the officially the higher rated, at least the FIDE rating. But if you look at the USCF rating, though, it's a bit different. USCF rating, Chloe has the higher USCF rating, and I think USCF rating is kind of more of is a better. These days, I think UCF rating is more of a reflection of someone's strength because FIDE ratings can often be very underrated these days. I mean, I know there are a lot of players who, let's say, have 15, 1600 FIDE with 2000, 2100 USCF, and it can be sometimes be the other way around. People who have played some hybrid events or things like that, or had some huge K factor, K40, sometimes get an inflated FIDE rating. But I think in general, a USCF rating progress and in general your CF rating is a little bit of a better indication of someone's strength. So on paper, Chloe should probably be a slight favorite because Chloe is close to 2100 USCF and Dorothy I think is 2000 on the floor, but also Chloe is much more active, so and that definitely counts for something. So although Dorothy certainly has experience on her side, so it will be kind of interesting to see how much resistance Dorothy could put up. But definitely looking very good for Chloe. Controls the game quite handily. And yeah, so I would say once again, the most interesting game is probably the arena game because here, okay, Black is just up a pawn and kind of has control over the game. Um, the arena game. Okay, at least there's some sort of counterplay with knight f4, queen g5. So at least white needs to make some decisions. Um, and yeah, Chloe Gao looks like a technical squeeze, right? Where black is just now. The white probably should trade this bishop, but yeah, to at least try to exchange this horrible bishop. But still, after this and then like h6, there's just not much counterplay. But again, is it an easy win? No. If I would play like let's say top player like a Fabiano Caruana or someone like that or Carlsen, it would not be easy at all to win this, or let alone an engine, right? So, but I still think for a human it's very hard to defend something like this. Yeah, Rook C7 of course threatens the mate, but yeah, Black will just activate the king, I assume. And really, there's not much to be done, I think. So, yeah, and in this game, okay, so Megan is thinking how to consolidate the position. Let's see what she does here. And Irina, yeah, she played King H1, the move I kind of liked. And it's a prophylactic move. Irina is very big on prophylaxis. In fact, she, it's like the classical school of thinking, right? Like always thinking about opponents' ideas. She's even done YouTube videos on her channel on the theme prophylaxis. It might have been even more than one. And the idea, of course, being that let's just say white plays a move like Rook B1, which looks like a logical move, putting Rook on an open file, right? Black will play something like Queen G5. And now suddenly it's tricky. Now you must take this knight on f4, which is not ideal because you are at least helping activate the bishop. Why do you have to take it? Because now g3 is met with this really powerful knight h3 followed by queen e3. And in this case, white will be in very big trouble. So what king h1 does is that now with queen g5, you're able to play g3. And the knight is going to be pinned and white's going to be better. Now, it turns out actually, now I think it will be very hard for black to actually find this. It turns out queen g5 nonetheless might still be the best move because after g3, queen e7, if you take twice, the knight is hanging on c3. So it's kind of very interesting. In fact, shockingly, there's an even better move on. There's even f takes e4 first. And now this bishop's hanging, this knight's hanging, and you can sort of create chaos here. White will still be better, but it could be a bit chaotic. So it's unclear if you want to take the knight. But at least then you've induced the weakness, g3, which maybe gives you a smidgen of hope for some attack. So for example, if I play a move like knight c4, maybe now I could take go f4, try to open up the game, and have some chances for an attack. So I think the move queen g5 is definitely the best try, followed by queen e7. But can black find it? I mean, it will be really impressive. But again, having said that, I did not think that Vika's yesterday against Arena would find all these difficult moves that she did, but she found all of them at some point. And it really would have been well deserved of a draw or even a win potentially. But a little bit of unluck for her in the end, but we'll see. But Sahana, yeah, we'll see if she finds Queen G. Queen G5 is hard, but you never know, right? Like, what else? I mean, Black kind of doesn't have that much other counter plays, so I think another thing she could maybe try is Knight takes e2, Queen takes e2, f4, using the fact that now you can play g5, g4, h5, and you trade it off the bishop. But still, it doesn't seem all that good because I can go here and I can trade the bishop. And again, the attack is just not really gonna work. For example, h5, knight b6, rook b8, rook c8. Okay, if g4, I can just take and then take. It's just very hard to generate an attack. At some point, I can even play h3. But even if in the ideal world, let's say I do get in, yeah, I can play queen b5 trying to trade queens. So even if you somehow do get g4 in, it's not the end of the world because g3 you can always go bishop g1. And again, like if I play a move like rook d8 and I play h3, white will probably be winning here as well strategically. So again, it's just hard to imagine black getting anything without this light square bishop, without the knight being in the game, with this bishop locked in. So even a structure like this should probably be completely winning. And I remember I've won a lot of games like this on the white set of King's Indians. Yeah, so meanwhile she's still thinking, Sahana that is, and we'll see what she comes up with. And Megan is still pondering under her decision. I mean, white is trying to do some counterplay. White's pieces are good, but yeah, objectively, it should not be enough. If black finds this idea, and then bringing the bishop to e5, then which is really well placed, defends f6 against like these threats, puts pressure on c3. Black seems completely fine. In this game, so Dorothy did fine. So rook c7, king e8 did happen, and now she did play bishop h4, which is logical. I mean, at some point, you have to try to do something about that bishop. Takes, and now, yeah, something like e7, king d8 looks like a good consolidating idea. So a sample line can go something like knight d7. And now I've checked king e7, so let's say knight f3, king d8, rook a7, something like h6. Okay, and black seems more or less winning, right? Like you can't really do much anymore at some point. If you try to create counterplay here, this pawn sort of becomes unstoppable. I mean, at some point, I guess I can try to trade off the knight. Yeah, it just doesn't really work out. So in the end of the day, black should be winning. But okay, still some work to be done. So we'll see what happens with this one. So yeah, at the moment, everybody's sort of thinking. So does anyone have any request for which game should we look at deeper? Right now, we're going to take a look at the bird's eye view a little bit. Does anyone here have a request for which game we want to take a deeper look at? So I think, yeah, so here, okay, nothing much happened. It's the same position. Here black is still thinking, and here Chloe is still thinking. I mean, Megan's okay. So Megan did play bishop d6, which is a good move. So let's see if there are any results, by the way. Yeah, no results so far, just the Anna game. Okay, so Megan game went bishop d6, queen g5. So now h6 followed by bishop e5 would be logical. All right, so this arena game, yeah, so black is still thinking here. And the Chloe game, Chloe did play knight d7, and black sort of has control over the game. So I think with everybody sort of thinking, maybe I'll go on a 5 to 10 minute break. And then when we come back, I guess I will. We can sort of resume. Well, actually, as I said that, okay, there are some moves that were played. Rook c8, of course, king e7 will happen, only move, and we'll see what white tries. I mean, knight f3 is maybe the best. I think f4 could also be tried, but then rook e1. So yeah, I can't really do that. So yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, um, yeah, we'll see. Okay, so Sahana's still thinking. Megan currently thinking. Okay, Dorothy played knight back to f3, so yeah, I guess rook b8 makes sense just to try to trade off the most active rook for white. You could probably play c4 as well. So many ways to try to win this. Um, no, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Uh, uh, Today the chat is a bit quiet. Is there anyone in the chat that wants to say something interesting? Um, any thoughts you have about the positions? Mm. So yeah, yeah, looks like it's gonna be a kind of a slower day today because the favorites are sort of all controlling the game, and one game already, as you know, finished. Radchenko against Nikol Zachevsky, uh, and so yeah, let's see. Yeah, everybody's kind of thinking on this one. So okay, I see Chloe just made a move. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, she played rook b5, so I think what she wants to do is go c4, rook c5, and get the rook behind the best pawn. Okay, that's very interesting. I didn't really wait. I don't think that works though. Well, I mean, I don't actually think you're threatening playing c4 because if you play c4, I'm gonna go knight d4 and rook c5, knight c6. So yeah, I don't think it actually works. I think you need to prepare it now. Maybe maybe Chloe wants to play something like f6 and then takes and then c4, but still I'm not really sure. Then you have this counterplay with rook h8 or even rook a8. So I'm not really that convinced. It might not be the best way to convert it. So yeah, I'm not really sure about this rook b5. It's because if you're not really threatening c4, I don't really see. Oh, actually, maybe no, but knight b6, I think you also can't really play because I go there and I don't really see the follow. You have to go back because if king here, it's a move like knight g5. Suddenly a lot of counterplay. So yeah, quite frankly, I don't really see like the next move after rook b5. I mean, it's possible Chloe just missed that it doesn't work. C4. I mean, I assume she will see now, but okay, it's rook b5 seems like not the most precise way. Actually, after rook b5, however, for some reason, Dorothy decided to play rook c7. Really, kind of, which allows king d8. I think she should have just played a, move like g4, king g3, and waited to see what actually black will do. This would have also set a trap, and yeah, like rook b5. I mean, like best move might be like rook b8 or something, right? So rook b5 is kind of not really good, I think. But okay, so rook c7 instead. And okay, but even then, I'm not really sure about the rook being on b5, even here. Allowing the knight to get in here, I'm not really sure. I like it because this pawn could be blockaded, the knight gets active, so and the pawn becomes stabilized. So don't think that black is choosing the best plan forward, but nonetheless, it should still be a winning position for black. All right, so looks like Sahana's still thinking and Megan's still thinking. So I guess the Chloe game is the one that's sort of going on for um, because I think Dorothy is playing quite fast. So which is why that one should be kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, so she played rook b2, king g3. Yeah, I guess now six is called for prophylaxis, stopping any kind of knight g5. Yeah, should be winning. Should definitely be winning. Um, yeah, I guess we'll stay on this game for a little bit because this game seems to be kind of going fast because Dorothy is playing relatively fast in this game, whereas the other two games are like more slow paced. Yeah, I think h6 is kind of important here because knight g5 you really don't want to be allowing, right? I don't really see. I mean, you can try king c8, but why would you give this counterplay, right? It's not very practical. Although it's probably still winning, but why allow this counterplay? I think h6 is just much simpler. Hmm. So yeah, uh, so Chloe's thinking. See if she played. Okay, so she's still thinking. So let's see if she'll play h6 or not. Now Chloe, if you remember, in round two, she made some decisions that weren't necessarily very practical. But maybe for this game she will improve on her practical skills. We'll see. We will see. So yeah, right now she's having a somewhat of a think. She probably wants to make sure she converts it the right way. Let's see what she'll do. Sahana is still thinking quite a long time. Um, and Megan taking quite a while to find her plan, unless there's a delay in transmission. So let's see. Let's see what's going on here. Any results? Looks like no results. Um, so let's see. All right. So yeah, not much is happening here, I guess. Oh, there was a move. Okay, so Megan did play h6. Queen h4 is absolutely forced, right? Everything else loses the queen. And now I'm guessing bishop e5 will happen. Bishop e5 seems pretty natural. And I guess you can consider bishop e7 as well, but that might be not be as good because a little bit passive, maybe 3, maybe bishop e4, things like that. Um, but we'll see. Sahana's still thinking, and Chloe's still thinking. Okay, so Chloe, of course, Chloe Stark played queen h4. Um, and it's interesting how in this round we have two Chloes in the top four boards. So it's a good round to be named Chloe. Uh, yeah. So anyway, so Queen H4 was played, and now yeah, let's see what Megan. I think it will either be Bishop E5 or Bishop E7. Not really sure. I guess time will tell. So I guess time will tell. Um, yeah. So let's see what's happening. Okay, King G3. Okay, so okay, I think I'm gonna uh take a small break for 5 minutes, and I'm gonna be um right back. Right back shortly. Gonna leave it as it is for now. Just be back shortly. Just as I said it, we have a move. Just as we said it, I have a move. Okay, so knight takes e2 was, yeah, honestly, I kind of predicted knight takes e2. I think queen g5, queen e7 is just a little bit too hard to find, right? Looks a little bit too unnatural. So yeah, knight e2, queen e2 probably, and then like f4. I predict that 4 g5 h5 plan, but yeah, it should not be enough. Should not be near enough. Yeah, I expect that Irina should win this game fairly easily. It's just a technical game where she usually plays very well when she has control over the positions. So yeah, I don't really anticipate black having too much chances um in this game. I think queen g5 would have been the best chance to make things a bit messy. But yeah, once black missed that, okay, it's fairly straightforward in my opinion. Okay, and white of course took with the queen. Again, she has a lot of time on the clock. You know, yeah, it's going to be hard to spoil this position, right? Because there's very little counter that black really has here. Yeah, I think more interesting will be how Chloe will try to go about converting her upper pawn position, and also how Megan will try to consolidate her position. Okay, speaking of Chloe Gao, she played King C8. Okay, I don't like it as much. I think H6 is more practical. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. I really don't like allowing knight g5. Now, it might not be that big of a deal, but you have to calculate so much to play it. And again, I don't see a big point of calculating. You can play h6 where you can sort of just stop the counterplay without having to calculate unnecessary long lines. And in a winning position, when you have a simple solution that's just good, there's no reason. Like Chloe did that also in round one, when she had a simple recapture knight takes d5, and then yet she decided to go for this fancy knight before, and she almost lost the game to a much lower rate player. And here too, king c8. Now knight g5 could be played, and then you have to calculate all of this nonsense. f4. I guess you have some king b8, rook e7, knight e6, but this is like engine lines. Okay, it's like why would you wanna go? I mean, I guess it's winning, but why? I think it's just unnecessary and practical. And Dorothy is an experienced player. She realizes she's lost in the position if she does kind of nothing, and so she just tries to go for it. Knight g5 makes sense. Bravo, Dorothy, to try to confuse matters. That's in general that's a very good advice to everyone. When you know you're losing by playing normally, you have to try to mix things up, even if it might not necessarily work, but you have to try. It's like gonna give you the best chances, and I would have just preferred not to allow this. Although, of course, yes, with perfect play, black is definitely winning. But now Chloe needs to like really calculate. So I don't, not a big fan at all of this king c8. Even though the engine did not mind it, I just do not like it. And Sahana is going according to what I expected. f4. Now I'm guessing white wants to keep the b6 pawn for the knight. So I think it will either be bishop f2 or bishop g1. I think either one. I'm not really sure which one's better. I mean, bishop g1 makes sense, just in case this, you're kind of preparing for g3. So I think both of them are quite logical. I'm guessing bishop g1 is what I would more likely play, but the engine does like bishop f2 a bit more. But yeah, I'm not really sure. So, but anyway, I think at this point it's more about playing what's the most practical. I think either one is more or less logical. And Megan did play bishop e7, which is a bit of a mistake. Yes, I mean, because bishop on e5, it's not only a defensive piece, but it's also like an attacking piece. But on e7, it's kind of a little bit too defensive. And now you're sort of allowing some ideas like takes bishop a6, and if bishop takes bishop d4. A little bit more counterplay than you could have allowed because of this bishop now being on this diagonal. So bishop e7, not a very precise move. And let's see if white could make something of her practical chances. It does look logical trying to set up some discoveries, but it's not the most precise move in my opinion. Um, and yeah, Chloe's still thinking. Chloe's still thinking on this after knight g5. So again, why, go on these adventures, right? There's just no reason to do that. Okay, so I think a move was played here. Oh no, it's White's move here. What am I saying? Um, yeah, Irina. Yeah, let's see how Irina. Yeah, Irina's thinking here. Okay, but she sort of has control. Chloe, yeah, she needs to calculate here. Probably gonna spend some time. Um, yeah, and Chloe will probably also spend some time trying to decide what to do. So, okay, I think for now I'm gonna be right back. Let's see what happens, and um, I'll be back shortly. Okay, guys, I'm back here. So let's see what did I miss. Okay, I missed some interesting developments in the Chloe game. So let's see what happened here. So knight takes e5, but knight takes f7. Okay, well maybe f4 first would have been more interesting, but yeah, white just took on f7 right away. And now, okay, what can black do? I guess if you take and go c4, what happens? Probably cannot keep taking, right? Because the pawn will just queen. So yeah, knight takes f7 maybe is not the most challenging. And Chloe did take here. Let's see if the results up, by the way. Oh no, this is okay. The results, it's the game's still ongoing. So this is not over yet, but it does seem like after c4, the pawn is going to be unstoppable. So I think f4 would have been a better try to at least keep the knight on the board. All right, Chloe Stark is still thinking after bishop e7, and Arena ended up playing bishop f2. So all right, so very logical. So let's see what will happen. Yeah, I guess the Chloe game. Okay, so rook b7 was played. Okay, just more simple, more practical. Just to try to go here and here. Okay, this should be sort of good enough. Yeah, I assume black should be winning, but okay, at least we know the game is still ongoing, so it's not quite over yet. It's not quite over yet, so still ongoing. So yeah, let's see if there are any. Okay, so Sahana did play g5, so let's see what. I mean, I think I would have probably, if I was a blitz game, I'm just playing knight here, knight b6, and trying to trade off the bishop. But apparently there are other moves too, but I think knight c4 is what I would play, and that's the move I kind of expect the most. Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens. Again, 30-minute edge, winning position strategically, up a pawn should be winning. Yeah, Chloe Stark is still thinking. Let's see what she will do. All right, Chloe goes king d7. Logical. Again, this is just coming, right? The pawn, so it seems hard to do very much about this. So yeah, looking quite lousy for white. Uh, okay, oh, she plays king f4. Okay, wait, that's interesting. She plays king f4, so she wants to get counterplay with king e5. Actually, okay, that makes sense. Now this needs to be calculated. So c4, king e5, c3, rook here, king c6. But okay, it doesn't really work. Rook here, here, and then you just block. All right, so this doesn't really work. King f4, c4 doesn't really work for white. I mean, if you have to go back, then it kind of defeats the purpose. So, okay, this should sort of be waiting for black. Uh, okay, black is thinking though. I really think the game should end any moment, actually. Um, let's keep checking. Yes, and actually the game is officially over now. Dorothy did end up losing the game. Chloe won. So now Chloe is going to be at 2 out of 3. And Dorothy, she had 1.5 out of 2. She dropped down to Chloe and she's going to have 1.5. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm guessing the most likely thing that will happen is probably Megan will win and Irene will probably win, and then Megan will play with white against Irene. That seems like the most likely. And Dorothy played, I think, quite well against Megan Parago. I think she drew with blacks, so she's still quite good, but of course quite dangerous. But 2 games a day could be maybe a little bit challenging. So yes, spoilers. Yeah, the thing is, like, you can Marshall Chess Club updates results, so Yeah, but I mean, we kind of figured the writing was on the wall in this game for already a long time, so it's kind of like, not that much of a spoiler, but yeah, I guess we'll get a chance to sort of see the technique that Chloe exhibits. Okay, so let's see what. Okay, so looks like Chloe Stark has just made a move. She played h3, which is not the most accurate. I think it was better to play some rook d8. So instead, white just played h3. And now bishop c4 probably. Although bishop c4, you sort of need to calculate what happens after this, which, yeah, doesn't look that easy because knight d5, something a queen of 2, does not look that easy. So yeah, we will see. Rook d8. Yeah, rook d8 was better, but okay, even this is still, you still have to work to win this. Like knight d5 looks logical, but suddenly queen takes e4, so can't really do that. If you go knight g4, you cannot do that because the rook in the end hangs. And if you take on d1, I take knight takes. So it's not easy. Still, black has to. I mean, bishop c4 is not the very obvious move because you have to foresee sacking on b6. But yeah, this is still going to be hard work. This is probably going to be the most tense game. Okay, meanwhile, what did Irina do? She played. Oh, she did go knight c4, black played h5, and drew a knight b5. Okay, so it's now looking like completely winning. Yeah, and I guess you have to go rook f6, right? You have to defend the pawn. And then that means even g4 will be hard to get in because bishop h4. And now white can even just play rook b1 or knight there. So again, completely winning here. Um, and in the Chloe game, what just happened? Rook a8, c3, rook a1. But yeah, okay, at this point, king can come up, rook can come here. I mean, everything probably wins. So yeah, I think Dorothy's last chance was f4. F4. This would have still been, slightly complicated, but um, still winning, of course. Um, yeah, I mean, I expect Arena to win any moment. Although Sahana does fight for a long time, so it won't be easy to just win these quickly. But yeah, I'm guessing the Chloe game, Chloe Stark against Megan, will be the toughest one because Chloe Stark still has that initiative, so it will be not super, not super easy still. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. In the meantime, yeah, we can sort of see how Chloe was able to convert it, but yeah, probably not very, not very challenging. Um, so yeah, Megan thinking here. Yeah, yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, rook takes d1. Some movers just played rook takes d1. Yeah, I guess if rook d1, what's the idea? Okay, maybe knight g4 actually. Is that her idea? I'm not really sure. I mean, rook d8. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really liking Megan's play so far in this tournament. Like, so far, not very, not very convincing. First game, she gave Abigail Zhu several chances to even win the game at some point. Very imprecise with calculation. Second game, she drew with white against, I think, Dorothy. So not great result for her to draw with white. And now this game, yeah, she's making quite a bit of mistakes and using a lot of time. So she's not in great form so far. She's not playing particularly great. So we'll see what happens if she can convert this against Chloe Stark. Then we'll see if she can, raise her game up and play a great game against Arena, um, whom she will probably play next round. Um, yeah. Meanwhile, yeah, Chloe's holding any new results, by the way. Let's check. Nope, no new results. So yeah, we'll see. Um, Hi Alex, this is Eli. Very up at the cabinet. Do we know about the money prizes? Yes. I think it's um, I think it's 2,000 for first place. I can quickly look it up. I think yeah, I think it's like an event registration. It might be here. It's no, first place 2,500, second place 1,250, third place 500, under 2,500, under 1,700, 250. So yeah, very decent prizes. Yeah, so very. Oh, it says only open to women players with current published rating 1,500 plus. UCF or FIDE. Ah, okay, interesting. Yeah, yeah. So it's not bad. Not bad for a weekend. For first place. So very decent. Um, so yeah, let's take a look at. Okay, so Rook F6 was played, of course, by Sahana. So yeah, if G4, then we go page 4. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, King C5. So King C5, King E2. I guess Rook B2 is going to be coming. Yeah, very very good prizes. Yes. And the Marshall Championship, the overall will be 5,000 first place, but that one of and that one I'll probably also be doing commentary for. Uh, could have considered playing, but um, yeah, it will be very strong tournament. Will be hard to win actually. Um, yeah. Anyway, so GTD what? Oh, guaranteed. Yeah, guaranteed. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, good point. Yeah, the prizes are guaranteed. Yeah, Chloe's putting the finishing touches here. I guess the King C4, King C3, and then Rook B1. Yeah, so yeah, it's about to be over. So very very good game by Chloe. Very nice, using the fact that White had a bad bishop and outplaying nicely. What did Megan do? She played Queen C7, which I guess is okay. Trying to protect line. And then Queen F2, good move. Attacking B6. It's not so easy. Suddenly White has compensation again. This bishop would have been so nice on E5 at some point, but it's not. It's kind of a problem. All right, so yeah, here Rook F6. Yeah, and then here, yeah, Rook C1, I guess. Yeah, White just completely dominating here. Yeah, clearly the game with the most intrigue will be Chloe Stark against Megan, to see if Megan could consolidate, but it's not an easy game for her. Even though White blundered early in the opening, sort of. But New York City needs to have more stronger females, but I guess some of them are in the world youth champ. Yes, yes, exactly. For example, Iris Moo, like she would have been the one who would be a very strong competitor to Irina. I mean, um, Iris is like a solid 2100 FIDE, 2250 your CF or so, and she can definitely play even better than that level. She's a very serious player, rising junior, played pretty well the junior girls, making very steady um, gains. And yeah, definitely, yeah, she's one of the players, and she's playing pretty well at the World Youth. She has 5 out of 6 currently, 4 wins, 2 draws, so very in serious contention to win the girls under 14. Um, she beat you in July. She's on. Yes, yeah, she's definitely one of the players. But yeah, who else? I mean, Jessica Hyatt is pretty strong as well. Around 2100 UCF could also be dangerous. And who else? Yeah, I mean Megan is playing, so junior girls. Who else is like a new in New York City area? Can't you actually? Oddly enough, it's like I can't really think of too many um others who are like New York City players, right? Like there are obviously a lot of like if you take a look at the U.S. junior girls or even U.S. women's. Yeah, I guess Rusa Golotiani could have played, but I think she did some. Yeah, we were talking about junior girls, right? So, like I guess under 18 or something. Abby Marshall, I thought was gonna play, but I guess she didn't in the end. But she's an adult. And she kind of used to be a prodigy player. She's around the master, but yeah, like in terms of like challenging Irina, it's kind of for now it's not that close. I think Iris Moo is the one that's like the most by far the most dangerous for um um out of the junior players. Uh, so hopefully she can play next year. It'll be kind of more interesting. Um, and meanwhile, Dorothy resigned here. That last final position was King C4, and now Black's just going King C3 Rook B1. So White resigned. Um, yeah, this is Chloe Stark. Yeah. Um, yeah, knight c7 is a good move to just take and take. And really, it's complete domination. White also want to take a 96. It's just completely over it, probably. You can't even go there because this move. So it's more or less completely over. Arena's game. Yeah, so this is the one that's like the most tense. Wow, a5 was actually the move to play. Wow, interesting. So that the queen can take back and then you take here. Okay, that's maybe not so easy though. Okay, so bishop c5 is pretty decent, I guess. Bishop takes, pawn takes. I mean, queen takes would have been also interesting, but I guess Megan thought that this position is not so easy because of weak pawns, even though black is up a pawn. So b takes, queen e3. Yeah, I guess queen e5 or something. And okay, black is still up a pawn and not quite enough compensation, but oh, she played queen c6. Okay, it's also fine probably. But okay, this is gonna take a while to win. Right? This is gonna be a long conversion. Um, but yeah, I'm guessing Arena's game is the one that will finish faster. It looks completely dominating from start to finish. Okay, so Sahana played knight c7, knight c5, but okay, now I'm guessing you could do this. Takes, 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 knight e6. You can't even play b6 because of this useful double pawn. Yeah, I mean, this seems like the simplest. The knight on e6 is just complete domination. This looks very practical. Let's check if actually. Oops, sorry. Let's check if any games finish. Nope. Somehow no. So Sahana is still fighting, to her credit. Here we have b3. Okay, logical. Stopping some ideas. Very solid structure for white. Not gonna be easy for Megan to win at all, and she's behind on the clock. So Chloe's really fighting well. But Arena sort of has full control over the game, so we'll see what happens. Um, so, all right, so let's go back here. Yeah, so Arena is okay. She did like I predicted, takes, and probably gonna take on d7, go 96, and yeah, I assume yeah, exactly. Takes 96. Just the simplest, right? Very practical. Absolutely no counterplay. Just such a such a bad position for black. Very very sad. King's Indian. Yeah. Yeah. So wouldn't be surprised if this game is going to be over at any moment. So yeah, very a lot of credit for Arena. She had a really tough wake up call yesterday. We were talking on the way back home yesterday after that game, close game against the 1800, and this was a wake up call for her. And today she really played very well both games, right? I mean, first game against Chloe with block, really very precise play, very accurate, outplaying her very nicely. And today against Sahana, also complete cruise control game. No no complications, just very smooth Karpovian technique, typical um, trademark arena win. Megan, meanwhile, is laboring, definitely laboring with her extra pawn, but definitely a lot of compensation for black here. Um, yeah. Does anyone have any more thoughts or questions on this? Um, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, Sahana will probably take her time to try to fight, but yeah, that's not gonna really change the outcome of the game, I would think. Um, yeah, and Chloe still fighting. Megan still think. I have played against Megan Rapid, and she's really promising. Yeah, I think. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think Megan is more of a blitz and rapid specialist than long game. I think so. I think yeah, she plays good blitz and rapid. She's played a lot of like these practice tournaments in Steinway Chess Club and in others. She should play the World Youth. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But to be quite honest, I was thinking she would progress a bit faster. I'm not particularly so far that impressed with her progress. I mean, she did play Pan American. Yeah, I mean, overall, I don't know. Like, I feel like, um, given where she was, like maybe 2 3 years ago, I would think that she should have probably made a little bit more progress by now. Like her game at the moment, like I definitely think she could play much better. Um, so yeah, um, kind of a little bit disappointed, but okay, we'll see. I mean, maybe at some point something will like click a bit more. But yeah, to me, she seems like a little bit more dangerous in Blitz and Rapid. In fact, I think that when she beat a GM at the St. Louis tournament, it was in Rapid. I think she's more dangerous in Blitz and Rapid. She has good practical skills, but I feel like she's still kind of lacking in a lot of areas somehow. So sometimes with players like her click in any moment and make a big step. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, there are some other players like that who kind of play a lot of these rapid games, and I mean, she does play long games as well, but I don't know. I mean, somehow, like, she's thinking a lot and still, like, not really making best decisions. Like, the first game was definitely not really a good one for her. Second game, draw. I didn't really check it that closely, but didn't look that great. Um, and this game also, like, really laboring from, even after opponent, like, blunder the pawn, still, like, really laboring to win. So, kind of a struggle, I think, for her, a little bit of a plateau, maybe. But it's not easy. Chess is a hard game, so chess is definitely a hard game. Um, it takes a lot of grit to improve on this game, especially now with everybody else being quite strong. Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, Arena's game, yeah, yeah, it's continues to be really kind of cruise control type game. Yeah, Megan's still thinking. Yeah, Queen f4 was played. And apparently, King G1. King G1's a hard move to play, I guess. Queen f4 makes sense. I mean, you want to go rook d6. Yeah, you have to play some queen b7, queen e3, rook c8. Yeah, it's just so hard to convert, right? I mean, it's just don't really see an easy plan for black. I mean, I guess black will somehow find a way to win, but it's not clear actually, because her opponent is, I think, like a teenager player, like Chloe Stark. She's not a 7-year-old. Might get a little bit more tired, so and make blunder. I think we'll see. I mean, it won't be easy. Definitely won't be easy. Let's see if there are any new results that showed up. Nope. Still, still the same as it is. So I guess Sahana is still sort of fighting pretty well, but the result is sort of not in doubt. I think at this point, Arena could even beat a top GM from this position, but especially with this time on the clock. But again, we'll sort of see. Yeah. Um, yeah. So they're both thinking. Yeah, Megan is really taking her time. Yeah, she can't find a plan. It's not easy. Okay, so she went for an active plan c4. So let's see. What is this c4? I guess c4 b4 is the best move. Trying to block this bishop and try to create counter with the b4. So yeah, we'll see what white will play. Um, yeah, we'll see what white will play. Just 2 games. Yeah, surprisingly, the first 2 games that finished were the ones on the DGT boards. Kind of unusual circumstance. Every other game is like going on still, even the ones that are like lower boards. It just goes to show that. Yeah, and one of them, like, white just hung a queen, blundered everything. Radchenko and Anna, or Radchenko. Uh, yeah, but Chloe Stark fighting really, really tough this game. Even after a blunder, did not give up, kept looking for resources, and really giving Megan a run for her money. Let's see if Chloe will find before, though. Because if you don't play before, well, let's look at what happens if you don't play before. Let's say go rook d6. But then actually queen c5 apparently is very good because you directly take, and then here. You cannot take here because the rook hangs, and f takes, bishop takes c4. So it's worth noting that you like an active move like this might not work, and that's probably what Megan calculated. Uh, so And this move was also not that good. Queen d6 is possible, but then still takes 6. A very strong with rook c8, and black is going to be much better. This pawn is going to be very weak, I guess. But b4 is a very strong move, so let's see if white could find that move. In the arena game, black played rook c8, okay, fighting for the file, but yeah, should not be nearly enough. And yeah, white can just do many things. I mean, I'm guessing rook c1 is like the most the simplest, but I guess yeah, there's also other ideas like this and then rook c1. What penetration ideas? Oh, it's kind of over. Ah, so Chloe did bite into this rook d6. Yeah, yeah, rook d6 not very good move. Yeah, you have to play before stopping queen c5. You really have to prevent it. Yeah, now it's looking bad. Yeah, queen c5. Although, okay, will Megan play queen c5? I mean, I'm not sure. I guess there's also queen c7 you have to consider, which also looks okay, but it does allow b4. So but it does pin the rooks, so you have to sort of make a decision. So I'm thinking queen c7 might also be played, but queen c5 is better, of course. Oh, we'll see. We'll see what she'll play. But yeah, rook d6 is a bad move either way. You have to play before. This puts rook on a slightly awkward square, and the counterplay is just sort of falls short. Okay, no results. No results have finished so far. Um, so yeah, no results have finished so far. Okay, queen c5 was played. Okay, credit to Megan. I mean, she probably calculated this ahead of time. Yeah, now I think Megan will win. Now she has control, and now it's like once the situation gets concrete, I think she'll be quite strong. Yeah, like now I think she's sort of out of danger, and she's sort of yeah. Now I think she'll win probably. Yeah, White needed to play this very strong move before. I think it was the only move to still be okay, but yeah, that was maybe not an easy move, but kind of mandatory move. Yeah, now Chloe doesn't really have much counterplay after that queen c5. Yeah, black sort of controls everything, and Irina is also completely winning. But okay, just taking her time to make sure that she has it in control. I mean, she has a lot of time, so she can certainly might as well use it. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. All right. Any thoughts from anyone here on the position? Uh, by the way, thank you, Ilya, for participating in the chat. Uh, yeah. Uh, let's see. Um, yeah, Arena still think yeah, basically just contemplating on like the very favorable options. My student is on the way for this tournament. Oh, you have a female student playing this tournament? Um, oh, nice, nice, nice. I guess it's secret who it is, right? uh, I guess it's a secret, right? For now. Oh, Winnie is the name. Okay, let's see who is Winnie. Um, Winnie. Um, oh, you mean? Oh, I see. Oh, next year. I see. That makes sense. Well, she's not playing now. Ah, okay. Makes sense. Ah, so she's not 1500 yet, right? Something. Is that what it is? She's not 1500 yet? Ah, six and around 1000. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, yeah, that's no, that's very strong. Yeah. Although in this tournament there are two 7 year olds who are like around 16, 1700 who played, and they're like top 6 and 7, top 7 years old in the whole country in New York City. So I guess the future could be really bright for. Oh, by the way, speaking of prodigies, there's another young player who's not playing in this tournament who lives in New York City, Alice Shen. You might have heard of her at some point. She's around 1800. She's like something like 8 years old, also very strong for her age, also very talented, of course. Loves chess. Yeah, but I guess she maybe is playing another tournament or she's doing something else. But yeah, she's another player who uh, someone to keep an eye on. Wait. So here actually, wait a second. Well, rook c1 actually. Wait, do you have to be careful? Oh no. Sorry, what am I saying? Yeah, you can't really take rook e6. I forgot the king's on h1. For a brief moment, I thought, wait, queen d4 check, queen f2, queen d1, but and then prepare. I thought king's on g1, queen f1, but king's on h1, of course. So it doesn't work. Yeah, so you could just take back with the rook. Yeah, honestly, this is what I expected. Rook c1. Maybe not the most precise, but definitely good enough. Although you can certainly take with a knight as well. So again, like at this point, 2 pawns up with a better position, there's not much you can do. Um, yeah, we'll see. But so Hannah's great. She's still fighting. She's doing her best. The results still ongoing. So yeah, in fact, everybody is still fighting hard. So credit to them for you know fighting. Um, so yeah, let's go back here. Yeah, so probably Chloe missed Queen c5 because now she's thinking for a long time. Yeah, and I think now Megan will probably win. Yeah, and Arena, okay, she's still in control, but okay, she's trying to just be a perfectionist now, which makes sense now that she's winning, just to make sure it's like cleanest conversion without any counterplay. So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's so great for young players, younger that Arena's playing this term. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's like an inspiring figure in United States chess and New York City, but even United States. Yes. Um, yeah, and like it's good that they made such good prizes, right? Otherwise, Irina wouldn't be intrigued in playing this tournament, right? But that's the whole point, right? The point is to try to. Yes, I will checkmate your soul. Is this? But I didn't really want. I knew about that, but I didn't really want to say that because I thought it might not be public information. But yes, that's true. That's what you just wrote is true. But yeah, I wasn't sure if it's public information, so I didn't want to mention that fact. But of course, I knew about it already for 3, 4 years or something. I've already known about Chloe uh, since she was like 13, 1400s. Irina has been like already so talking quite highly about her for a long time, which is probably why she took her very seriously and she really played a top game. She really made sure she played her A game against Chloe because she understood that, yeah, if she plays a B game, it might not be so easy anymore. Alexander, have you ever lost to your students? Let me think. Well, I well, I've definitely lost them in training games, quite a few times, because I have some very strong students. That's the thing. I have I have trained and still train some students up to like I am level. And some of them probably will become GMs, although um, um, or be the former coach. Well, I mean, I've beaten my coach Georgi Kachishvili like quite a few times when we played. Even when I was still in IM, I've beaten several times when I was working with him. In fact, I think once I started, before that, I was usually losing to him, but once I started working with him, I actually beat him twice in tournaments. But then, okay, he won a couple of games also, but yeah, it was kind of, yeah, well, did I ever lose to students? I don't think. Um, and I think I came close, I think. I remember once I came very close to losing to my 2000 student or something. Did I ever lose though? I'm trying to remember. Did I ever lose in a series in an actual tournament game? Um, can't really recall, but I'm sure it will happen at some point. It's just the although the thing is, these days I don't really. No draws. Yeah, draws. I think. Yeah, draw. I did. Yeah, I did make draws. Um, um yeah, but lose. Yeah, can't really recall losses at the moment in non-training games. I mean, um, yeah, but maybe it did happen. But I mean, right now I would not be surprised if I, you know, lost, right? Because they're probably like at least as good as me in some cases, or if not better, or former students or whatever. I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by student, whether former student counts or only current counts or something. Um, but okay, yeah, it's yeah. Rena's actually thinking for a while after Rook C1, Rook takes C5. Yeah, I guess trying to be a perfectionist, Knight C5, Rook C5. They're probably both okay, but being a little bit of a perfectionist here. Has any results finished? Okay, Audrey is Zhao, beat Erica wrong. Okay. I guess a pretty logical result, but I don't know how the game went. It's not on DGT, but yeah, the ones on DGT. Nicole destroyed Anna. Bad opening, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah, no, it was, yeah, very bad opening and then blundered like everything in this game. Yeah, so it was a pretty bad game by Anna. Even though Anna had an upside in round one, but this game she played quite poorly, unfortunately for her. And okay, Arena did end up taking back with the knight. Certainly logical. So, and the game's still ongoing, so that means that Sahan is still fighting, not giving up easily. Um, yeah, we'll see. Chloe played well against Dorothy. Yes, definitely. Chloe played very well against Dorothy. Um, outplayed her. Yeah, well, Dorothy had a very bad bishop, and Chloe outplayed her very nicely. So yeah, today Chloe played well. I mean, yesterday she played quite a bad game and almost lost. It was a young 7-year-old girl. But today, what was I keep forgetting the exact. Yeah, Wan Chin Lin Lee. Yeah, she lost to her, but today, yeah, she played well against Dorothy. Dorothy showed her strength in holding that against Megan. Yeah, I didn't really check close I didn't really check that game closely. I saw it was a draw, but I didn't really check it very closely. Yeah, I mean Dorothy still has. Yeah, she's not bad. I mean she's the woman I am, right? So that means she was quite strong at her peak. But of course, now she's obviously past her prime, but still, an occasional game, of course, she can play very well. But this game, okay, I guess she didn't play so well because she played kind of fast, anti-positionally at some point, and probably a little bit tired. But it's understandable. Okay, Queen C7 was played by Sahana. Now, Knight B3, I guess, is the one that comes to mind first. But then I guess there's some fighting chances. Queen E7 or something. Queen B2 and then G4. But yeah, I'm wondering if Irina will just play something like Queen B5. But then there's G4. Yeah, to be fair, Sahana is sort of fighting. It's not actually like that super easy. She's doing her best to make something happen. So definitely not giving up without a fight. I still expect Irina to win this, but okay, she's doing her best to try to keep the game going. I will checkmate your soul. Can I depend on you to check on the results from time to time? Uh, and provide some spoiler alerts? Uh, because I don't want to keep checking that. Okay, Chloe Stark, she played knight d1. Okay, so what happens after cb? And then just like bishop takes. Yeah, I can even do that, but maybe a5 is even more clinical. Yeah, okay, it's pretty desperate knight d1. Yeah, it's pretty hopeless. Yeah, she thought for a long time she could queen c. Clearly, she missed queen c5, so looking bad for Chloe Stark. Um, she's 82. The next oldest is Irina 39. She's more than double everything. I'll be happy if I still know how to play chess when I'm 40. 82. It's quite remarkable to play that well. No, that's true. That's true, actually. Yeah, I give her a lot of credit. She still played pretty decent. I mean, she won the first game, and then she was able to hold Megan with the drawback. I mean, it's very impressive. Yeah, there's some players who, at their 80s, they can't play at all anymore. Like, in fact, Mihai Suba, right? It's an example. Like, I mean, he's a legendary grandmaster. He used to be very, very strong at his peak. Now I think he can't play at all anymore. I mean, he has, I think, maybe some illness, but yeah, he can't play at all anymore. He's about 1900 FIDE, and he just played a tournament in Spain. One a half out of four against like players like lower rated than him. So yeah, I mean, it's very easy to just completely lose your ability to play at some point when you're at an old age, past 70, plus past 80, and just you can't ever take that for granted. So it's yeah, it's very sad, to see that, right? I think also Arthur Bisguire, the late Arthur Bisguire, had really deteriorated. His chess completely deteriorated in his last like few years. He was probably playing like, he was already like 2200 floor, but was playing way below 2200 even UCF, and he was at his peak. He was a strong grandmaster, Arthur Bisguire. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, some people could really. It's sad, but so easy to lose your game once you're 65. Yes, but on the positive note, there is an article by Todd Andrews. No, not Todd Andrews. Todd Bryant on chess.com recently came out on all some improvements adults have made, and there is a player, Fred Wilson, who made a master at 71 after being stuck at the 21, 2150 for a long time. So it's still possible to make big jumps or some jumps at an older age, or at least maintain your level and then sort of make a like last jump. So yeah, but of course, yes, everyone's different. Some people just lose their level 200, 300, 500 points, right? So it depends. You have to really stay in shape and stay motivated. I think the key is playing a lot and somehow staying sharp. Yeah, late bloomers storms are great. Yes, exactly. No, I agree. It's very inspiring to see that. Um, I think a lot of it depends on motivation. Now, I think it's much harder to do it now though than in the past, because now, with all the material, you have to be so updated in terms of your openings, technology. Now, it's so much of it is memorization that it's just Like for the older players, it's very hard because often they don't have as good a memory. And these days, like the younger players, they just memorize a lot of these chessable lines. There's just so much information, so it's much harder for the older school players. Ever since COVID, it's gotten very hard for the like a lot of the older guys. Their ratings have dropped, including myself, by the way. Like in my peak, even in 2019 before COVID, I was pretty much solid over 2600 FIDE player. Even broke 2654, top 100 in the world. It was only like 4 years ago. Uh, had very good results for the most part. Um, yeah, and then my level just deteriorated. Now I'm 2520 FIDE. UCF was 2740, and now below 2600. So, and I'm not even necessarily old. Um, but yeah, it's not just about that. It's about motivation. It's about doing the very difficult calculation work, staying up to date in theory, and really like grinding, fighting hard even when things are not as good. It's like really hard. I see it in Megan's age. There's a player, woman FM, Lee Iris, who's number one in the world at her age. Iris Lee. Iris Lee. Oh, who's Iris Lee? I'm not really sure who Iris Lee is. Oh, I didn't even know who that is. Megan's age. Wow, interesting. Another Iris. There is an Iris who's playing in the World Youth, but I think that's a different Iris. Yeah, yeah, and I could have even got 9 out of 9 in that US Open. No, I think no, I think he's not talking about Iris Smooth. No, American 2147 FIDE. No, I think Iris Lee. Wait, I don't. How do I not know who Iris? That's interesting. 2147. What's your UCF rating? Sorry. What's her UCF though? I'm more interested in UCF. I don't really care about FIDE. FIDE ratings could be inflated due to hybrids or K40 factor. They can also be very underrated in some cases. So I think these days I just look at UCF ratings. All right, so Arena played Queen C4. Makes sense. Queen A5. I guess Queen A5 she just wants to go Knight B7, Queen here, and then then the pawn just promotes. Okay, yeah, that's I guess clinical. Yeah, that's clinical. Yeah, yeah, that's very good. Yeah, yeah, White's completely winning there. Um, I guess yeah, they're still playing, so still fighting. Let's see what happens. Um, 2030 UCF. Yeah, so that FIDE rating is um a little bit weird, right? It's not really representative of her actual strength, right? Like 2030 UCF is more probably kind of represents 1900 FIDE, right? Probably it must have been some K40 factor based on like a small sample or maybe even hybrid tournaments. So yeah, I think it is only if the player is playing playing or maybe playing hybrid tournaments. Hybrids. Sometimes you can get a rating inflated through hybrid rate. But I think these days hybrids are not really that much of a thing anymore. I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, I think in general these days a better estimate for a person's level is through UCF ratings, not FIDE ratings. Because okay, sometimes you have students who their FIDE rating stays the same for a year or so, but their UCF rating goes up like 50 to 100 points. But that to me is an improvement, right? Like I mean, so I think the way I measure improvement or someone's level is by UCF rating only. Uh, I don't even really take FIDE ratings that serious at the lower at the kids level. Okay, if it's like above, but honestly, even if it's like 2600 FIDE, like you can look at the UCF rating 2700, it will still be kind of relatable. She's already FIDE. Iris Lee gained 250 in Serbia to get Women FM and play title Tuesday. Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit not. Yeah, again, I don't want to say anything bad about anyone, but yeah, this FIDE rating looks a little bit inflated. Most likely, it's fair to say. Um, yeah, because normally the rough estimate for FIDE compared to UCF, the right rough correlation would be like 100 points. So like I think 2030 UCF would be more like 1930 FIDE. That would be kind of more. I mean, there are some people who are like 400 points lower, right? So it's hard to say. So, but yeah, like to have a FIDE rating higher than UCF, that's already a little bit of a red flag. Not necessarily that she did anything illegal. I'm not implying that, but I'm just saying that um, you know, the FIDE rating is a little bit inflated. But anyway, it doesn't matter. In the end, it will all even itself out anyway. And honestly, I don't care if she wants to play Title Tuesdays. I think that's a good thing for her. So I really don't mind that at all. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I didn't really even think hybrids were that big of a deal. Although I guess it impacted some qualifications, but yeah, that's why I think it's important that qualifications for big tournaments they have to take into account UCF ratings. Maybe UCF ratings should be more of a factor than FIDE rating. I agree. I had a student who had 700 UCF and 1400 FIDE. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So FIDE ratings are just yeah, but you can also have a player who's 1400 feet. Like I've seen 1400 feet in like Europe and other places for like 2000 UCF level. It's just FIDE ratings are just too unreliable these days. They're reliable at the very top elite level, right? Because there's no such thing as UCF rating for like non-UCF players. But I think for kids, you really shouldn't look at FIDE rating. You should look at UCF ratings mainly to roughly estimate the person's strength. I think that's like much more of a accurate assessment. Because UCF ratings don't have these K40 factors, these weird, you don't have these hybrids, right? Like, so, and you don't have these underrated situations either. So UCF rating is more of a realistic assessment of a player. That's what I've realized like already a couple of years ago. It's just, and right off of COVID, what was the most realistic assessment? Online UCF rating. Because there would be some players who would be, let's say, 1200 UCF because they didn't play for a year, but they were like young. But then they were online like 1600. So I would look at online ratings in that case to estimate the person's strength. But now, okay, hardly anyone plays. Now I would actually say the online ratings are probably kind of deflated. Or, yeah, like I think, or like I think 1600 online UCF is probably equivalent to like 1800 um, over the board, assuming the person never cheats, of course. Um, if the person is not a cheater, then I would say yeah, 100 to 200 points deflation. So if it's that's what I've noticed kind of with my students, with myself, right? Like it's like so something like 2000 online would be more like 2200 UCF, I think. Although Marcus Roger complains a bit about deflation. Yeah, I mean, I guess there is no, I think there is overall deflation. That's because there's 1000 the floor rating for players at 1000, whereas in the past that was like 2000 in the beginning. Then it kind of dropped and it eventually got to 1000. So people get all these low ratings when their real level is higher, and then people with 1000 they take rating from people like 1500. People with 1500 they take rating from like 2000, and so on and so forth. As a result, everybody becomes underrated, and it becomes like a conveyor belt system. So it's kind of that's how it's happening, if that makes sense. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so let's see what happened in some games. We kind of Alliance delayed because of cheaters who don't get caught. Yeah, partially that, maybe partially some other something else. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, definitely if you're not a cheater, your online rating will be a little bit lower than like your UCF rater. It's just obvious. Um, okay, I would say 1800 is a good minimum for FIDE. Yeah, maybe. Oh, Megan Braga beat Chloe. Okay, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she's completely winning. Yeah, so rook takes a6. Okay, so what happens here? Black took here, white took here, takes e3. Yeah, she really needed that knight though. Knight e3 was kind of a must to blockade the pawn. Yeah, now the pawn is roaming free along with the knight, and it's just very bad for white. Very bad position. Yeah, knight c3 is coming, and yeah, I'm not surprised of black one. So that's actually pretty impressive. Sahana, despite her horrible opening, outlasted everybody else. Um, and she actually won the pawn back, although it's not really a good pawn, right? Like it was a double pawn and knight still dominates, but yeah, it's still like not super easy, right? Okay, it is easy, but not, she's fighting. Sahana's definitely fighting. She's a resilient player. Let's see if there are any other interesting results. Okay, so Aileen Lu lost to Kayla Severo. Abigail beat Leah. Audrey beat her. Yeah, so Chloe lost to Megan. Yeah, so Arena will play Megan. Still a couple of games ongoing. Um, Chloe allowed d5. So yes, exactly. Chloe made this mistake earlier on, right? Like that was the critical moment I went over. She should have played King H1 first, a prophylaxis, and then if something at Queen D7, then to go Knight D4. And D5 would just be an equal game. Maybe it's slightly more pleasant for white. But instead, she allowed this D5 break, which I think she blundered. And now she had to go because you cannot take here because Bishop C5. So yeah, she kind of had to lose a pawn. And then okay, after that, White's play wasn't Black's play wasn't the most accurate, but still, White also did not play the most accurate, and eventually Black converted. I mean, still, there's some work to be done, but I guess Chloe kind of didn't show the best resistance here. And yeah, Arena against Sahana still. Yeah, Sahana's still fighting. Yeah, I mean, I would be very surprised if she actually scores here, but you never know. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, this position I can have a hard time imagining. Arena. Okay, Queen A6 is a nice sneaky move though, because Rook C7 looks good, but oops. Very sneaky. The back is still weak, so obviously have to be careful. But okay, I assume Arena will not blunder that. Queen E7 looks good with the idea of D6, but then Queen A3. And yeah, I guess you can go there, but something like this, there's still counterplay Queen A3. But I guess here Rook C8 wins. But again, still not easy. Can we check round two? Yeah, I guess we can. I guess we could. Actually, let's see how round two was. So let's check Irina's games. First of all, Irina, she really redeemed herself nicely from first game. She played very well. So let's see how it went. D D5, A3, Bishop E7. Ah, this is interesting. I know that Bishop takes C3 is a bit more common. But Bishop E7 is sort of an attempt to try to sort of get out of theory. Okay, maybe B4 is interesting to try to prevent B5. It's just a different structure. Okay, white played castle, C5, B3, bishop B7. And as somebody already mentioned, Chloe is Arena's students, so yeah, they know each other's openings very well. So it's like they're probably trying to surprise each other a little bit, which makes sense. Yeah, and knight A4 was a weak move, right? Because it allowed C4, where you cannot take twice because of this B5, and so it's kind of a problem. So you have to go bishop F5. Yeah, position's about equal, but Yeah, by the way, what's interesting is Irina had this kind of position against Alice Lee in last year's US Women's Championship. It actually came from a semi-Slav, but also this hanging one structure, and also Irina outplayed Alice in that structure. Although later on Irina kind of spoiled it, and eventually Alice ended up almost even winning, and that game ended in a draw. Um, oh, Bishop B7 is a new line recommended by Benjamin Ball. Okay, nice. Yeah, no, this is good to know. Yeah, yeah. So knight a4 was a bad move, and now okay, knight c3 would be kind of sad, leaving the bishop bad. Now, to Chloe's credit, knight c5 is a very good move because sacks the pawn but activates the bishop. So definitely Chloe has learned the right lessons from Arena in terms of piece activity. You know, Arena is like very big on piece activity. Alice almost won that. Well, no, last year I don't think she had a big chance. This year, I mean, she started half out of three, and later on she made a nice comeback, but I don't think she was ever really that close to winning, right? Because there are two players, Begim and Carissa, who were running away with it. Yeah, so the thing is, Chloe tried, but yeah, Arena just played very well. Queen c3 d4 is accurate, 95 sacking the pawn back, but now bishop is bad again, and just yeah, playing very nice, precise game, really giving Chloe very little chance after that mistake. So very good game by Arena. Another game we can check is the Dorothy game. Yeah, actually, I didn't really check that closely, so that was, you know, and Dorothy played like a slightly weird side. Wow, h5. Wow, what is this h5? This is very weird. Yeah, like White had a complete dominant position here. King f8. What is this? This is like shock. But ed. Why would you play e takes though? Activate the bishop. Yeah, e5. Just total domination. Yeah, very weird. Very weird. E takes. Huh. Why would you allow the bishop to get? Okay, at least now there's some counterplay. Yeah, very weird game. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't look like Dorothy played particularly well, but she's still Megan's still much better. But okay, so she's kind of squeezing. Well, knight d7. That's quite a pretty move. Queen b7, queen g5. Wow. Huh. Interesting. Queen c6. Queen c6 is a very weak move, allowing some counterplay. Yeah. Also, why would you trade off? Yeah, just not a very precise game by. Yeah, and suddenly there's counterplay. Wow, black might even be better here at some point. So yeah, kind of a big game. Yeah, now white has to kind of make a draw. Yeah, king f4, king g5. Yeah, white even have to escape with a draw here. So the good thing for Megan is she's resilient, but yeah, it's kind of a weak game, you know. She had such a big advantage and just spoiled it all. And Sahana beat okay, this game she beat like Laura Smith. Yeah, I don't know. I guess there's some problems with the TGT. So that's not really and then Nicole Zachevsky beat Audrey Zhao. I mean, that was a long game. We probably shouldn't look at it too deeply, but okay, it looks like just White had a huge advantage out of the opening right away. Although the technique was not particularly great. Like, for example, yeah, here is already kind of close to winning, but somehow maybe this would be good, right? Just preventing this with some tactics. But yeah, anyway, yeah, we should probably go back to the previous. Yeah, this was a swingy game, so probably won't run. Don't really want to look at it too deeply, but it was a fight. Okay, so here it looks like now we can now see why black won quickly. Here white just blundered. Yeah, white could have maybe put more resilience here, but yeah, she just blundered. Okay, and black officially won. Yeah, queen takes c4. Okay, so now the only one that's left is the arena game, so we can just center our attention into that one. Okay, so queen e7 makes sense, threatening knight f8, king over h3. Okay, getting rid of the rook, the stupid back rank, and just preparing the rook lift. Yeah, there's very little counterplay here too. Very little some that to be done here. Um, but let's see if they're still playing. Oh, okay, Arena did win the game, so it's official that Arena won. So, which is not surprising. Am I playing Club Championship? I think I'm probably not, and the reason for that is because I'm probably going to be doing commentary again. Because I think so far, people have liked my commentary both during the MVL Simul and then also during the women's. So yeah, most likely I'll be doing commentary during that tournament rather than playing. It's less stressful to do commentary. Playing is a little too stressful, and it's going to be quite strong. It's going to be difficult to win anyway. So, and I'm kind of not that excited about classical chess these days. I'm a bit of a lazy chess player, so. Um, yeah, so we'll see. Let's see how Arena actually converted that position. Yeah, so let's see how Arena converted that. Yeah, Queen E2, I guess. I probably played like takes Queen F6. We'll see though. So yeah, so Arena is still thinking here, I guess. So let's see. Okay, you guys, if you have any more questions for me, you can feel free to ask me. Because I guess since Arena won, I guess the stream is gonna end in like less than 15 minutes. So if you guys have any interesting questions for me, you can ask me before I will end up heading off. Yeah, so I guess we'll see who I will play. So while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go on a 1 or 2 minute break, and I'll be back in a in a minute or so. Okay, guys, I'm back. So let's see what actually happened. Okay, so takes queen f6. Okay, so white traded a good knight for bad bishop. This is called a transformation of advantages, but white just, won this e5 pawn, and yeah, now it's up 2 pawns, past pawns, plus the king is very weak, so more or less winning position for white here. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's see if any other results have shown up. Okay, so Hemovikas is still playing, the one who heroically gave Arena a run for her money, and also Jessica Regan still playing. Yeah, so we already know Arena won, so I guess the only question is we'll see how she won. The only question remains how she won the game. Yeah. Yeah, so Sahana's still thinking. Let's see what she'll do. Let's see what she'll do. She played Queen D2. Queen C3. Okay, Queen C3 is kind of practical solution, just trying to trade off the queens, and if the queen goes, then D6, C5, I guess. I think it's kind of a simple, practical solution, I guess. So let's see what Sahana will do. Yeah, let's see what happens. Still thinking, I guess. Queen E2. Okay. So I guess D6 is very logical. Yeah, D6, E5, C2 potentially. Okay, G6, I guess you have to calculate G4, but then Queen E5, I guess it's winning. Yeah, so that's the thing. You're not even threatening G4, so I can probably win almost any way you want. Yeah, so Arena's thinking, but yeah, the game is gonna end at any moment now. I think like within a couple of minutes. Um, So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, let's see what Arena does. E5 or D6. Let's see what she does to convert this. For some reason, I'm not seeing any new chat. Um, okay, so E5 was played. Okay, Queen C2 is of course a threat, so Black sort of needs to. Yeah, because Queen C2 is just converting into winning endgames, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's see if there are any new results that showed up. Oh, Hema Vickers, okay, she drew against Camille, higher rated, but and Jessica Regan still playing. I think we can close this at this point. Oh, that's it. After E5, Black resigned. Okay. Okay, yeah. I guess she thought Queen C2 is a threat and there's really nothing much you can do, and she decided to resign. I mean, I guess you could try something like King H6, try to G4, but yeah, hoping for a miracle, but it's completely lost. So Black decided to resign. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining today. I hope you all enjoyed today's commentary. A little bit impromptu. I hope you all enjoyed it. So, does anyone have any last minute thoughts or questions uh, for today? For some reason, I'm missing the. Can't really see the chat anymore. Strange. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye.